Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to talk about how to pick up easy marks, and I think this one skill that I'm going to show you is the easiest way to catch the most number of marks without learning anything new, and it comes up time and time again. So the concept is rearranging equations or balancing equations, or rearranging the subject. And so this is an example that I picked out. And so the question for this would probably be like, what is the gradient? And for that you need to put this in the form y equals mx plus c. So the y and the x, they stay the same, but there's a coefficient here and a coefficient there. And if you can tell me what the coefficient is here, you can tell me what the gradient is. Equally, the question could be like, what is the y-intercept? And that would just be the c. Alright, so let's just rub this out. And right, so I need to get in the form y equals mx plus c. The way I like to think of this is, imagine you have a scales and you've got an equal sign on one side, right? So you have a right hand side and you have a left hand side, and whatever is on the either side, you need to make sure that they balance well, right? So here, if we just copy that down, we've got 4y take 5x equals 2, and that balances because there's an equal sign, so it's completely flat. The idea is, whatever you do to the left-hand side, you need to do to the right-hand side. And this is because if you imagine, like, I always use something like, I don't know, some sort of animal. If you have one elephant, right, and this weighs 100 kilograms, right? I have no idea how much elephants weigh. If I add another elephant, this will then tip down. It's not balanced anymore. So if there's an equal sign here, I'll need to, if I've added another elephant, I need to add another 100 to make that balance again. Equally, if I just took away 10 kilograms from here, I need to do the same here, so minus 10. And that will make everything weigh the same. All right, so let's have that in mind. Just move it somewhere. So if I want to get to the form y equals mx plus c, then if I look at this, the 4y is good on the left hand side for now, but this 5x is a bit annoying. And as you read it, it's 4y take 5x equals 2. So the 5x part is the last thing that's happened to the y. So that means, and this is the way I recommend doing it, is I write some brackets and I write what I'm doing to each side. And what I want to do to each side is plus 5x. So that gives me, on the left hand side, 4y minus 5x plus 5x equals 2 plus 5x. Okay. And the reason why I wanted to do this in the brackets is because if you minus anything and then add it back, it cancels out. So that becomes 4y equals 2 plus 5x, right? Great. And so as I read this out, it was 4y. The last thing I did to it is the y is multiplied by 4. So in brackets again, I'll divide by 4, which gets me 4y over 4 equals 2 plus 5x over 4. Great. And cleaning that up, if I've got 4 of anything, 4 apples, let's say, and I divide it by 4, I only have 1 apple left. So that's the same as saying 1y, if y was an apple. However, you don't really add any coefficient if it's 1. So you keep it, becomes y. And if you have a fraction like this, then you can just split it up into 2 parts, because this is part of fraction rules. So 2 over 4 is just a half on its own, and this part here, 5x over 4, just becomes 5 over 4x. This sign here is a plus, so I keep that as a plus there. So great. And the goal was y equals mx plus c. Just put this in square brackets. Y equals mx plus c. So I'm just going to change around the order of these 2 things. Y equals 5 over 4x plus a half. And this m here is this. So m equals 5 over 4. Great. So this is an example of how you can rearrange equations and move things from the left and the right. And to show this skill, I have a question that is not shown up. So I'll just copy it again. Here it is. Oh, that's back. Who knows? Okay, so this is question 28 on the May 2023 paper, I believe. Paper 1, right? So it says use these graphs to solve the simultaneous equations. However, and this is the foundation paper, sorry. So use these graphs to solve simultaneous equations. However, we're just going to use the graphs to show that we have the right solution in the end. Okay, so, right. So with our previous example, we said, I don't know, had like an elephant on this side and we had 100. If we knew something like an elephant weighs the same as 2 lions, what I could do is just, where there's an elephant, I could put 2 lines, right? And so this is only if we know E equals 2L. And so something similar is happening here. And this is part of rearranging equations and moving things from the left to the right side. So here we can see that what this shows here is we've got a line, 2 sets of lines, right? Got line 1 and line 2. So line 1 is 2 take 2y equals x, and line 2 is 2y equals 3x take 22. Great. And this means that on the graph, there are 2 lines here. For any line, if x is 1, there's a y that satisfies the conditions of the line, and so y is a particular number based off the equation. If x is 2, there's a certain y that fulfills the conditions, and so forth. And that's how you draw the line. These are 2 linear lines, and so provided that they aren't parallel, there's one solution where provided they aren't parallel and they are different, there's one distinct solution, and this is the case for these 2. So that means there's a particular x where the conditions are satisfied, and there's a particular y where the conditions are satisfied, and that looks like the lines crossing over a point, and I need to find x, the particular x and the particular y where they meet. And on this paper you would just read off where they meet. However, I'm going to do it algebraically and show you how to rearrange equations using the skills we've just learnt. Okay, so as I've said, if you know exactly what, say, an elephant is worth, you can replace it with the two lines, like if it's in terms of weight or something. However, algebraically, for lines, I can see that this and this, there's something that can go on there. And so what you can do is substitute it. So that means I start writing line 1 down, to take, and then I know exactly what 2y is worth in terms of line 2. And 2y is equal to everything here. They're equal because there's an equal sign and this balances with this. So I'll just put this in the brackets, 3x take 22. And that's everything in the bracket, and I carry on writing it, so equals x. And the reason why I want to do that is because now I have everything in terms of x. So if I gather all the x's onto one side and all the numbers on the other, I can find out what x is. And then that will allow me to find out what y is. So that's a really good start. And let's just carry on with this. So, one thing to remember is when you're substituting in, you should always put in brackets, because if you say just wrote this out, 2 take this, take this. If you didn't put in brackets, then you might forget to multiply these two together, the negative by the negative 22, so that should become a positive. However, if you don't put the brackets, you might forget to do that. So let's work out what the next line is. So this symbol here is, the line above is equivalent to the line below. 2 take away minus multiplied by positive 3x, take away 3x, negative multiplied by negative 22 plus 22 equals x. Perfect. And then in brackets, let's put in plus 3x. So on the left hand side, it's going to be 2 minus negative 3x plus 22 plus 3x. And so this will cancel out, just leaving us 2 plus 22 equals, and then x plus 3x, which is the same as 24 equals 4x. Perfect. So I just like to switch them around at this point, so 4x equals 24. It doesn't need to take up a new line, but conventionally the x's are on the left hand side and the numbers on the right. So now I want to divide by 4, and that gets me 4x, lots of x's, divide by 4. Now I just have 1x on the left hand side, and on the right hand side I have 24 divided by 4, so that's 6. Perfect. So I found out that x equals 6. Now what is y? And looking at these two lines, I think finding out what y is would be easier with line 2. And that's just because y's are on the left hand side, only y's, and x's plus or minus whatever's are on the right hand side. I could as well use line 1, but I'll choose to use line 2. Let me add a new page. Great, so line 2. So 2y equals 3x take 22. I know that x is equal to 6, so I'm going to put 6 in there. Take 22. And so 2y is also equal to 18 take 22, which is minus 4. So y is equal to minus 2. Great, so let's check if I've got that right. Great, so this point is where the simultaneous equations, the solution is, sorry, to the simultaneous equations. That's this point here is where the lines satisfy both conditions. Right, so x is equal to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, 6. And it's also equal to 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 2. Which is what I have here and here. So I got it right. And this is showing the power of knowing how to rearrange equations. So knowing how to move things from the left and to the right. And from that you can find out the answer. So equals 6 and minus 2. But on this paper, because it's foundation and they give you the graph, you would just read the answer off. But I'm just using this to show the power of the skill we've just learnt. And in a higher paper, they probably wouldn't give you this and just expect you to work it out algebraically, which is where you'd need this. And yeah, good luck.